In this class, we can start a revision introduction to microeconomics. First question, discuss the central problems of an economy. Answer, every economy faces three central problems. We studied about three central problems. What is the main reason of the problems of an economy? Availability, scarcity of the resources. That one is the main problem, scarce availability of resources. This scarcity challenges the best possible usage of these available resources to fulfill unlimited demands. We know our demands are more, but resources are less. The three central problems of an economy are as follows: what to produce, and in what quantities. First problem of an economy is what to produce. The very first problem encountered by any economy is to decide what goods are to be produced and in what quantities or in what amount. There is lot to be decided whether to produce consumer goods or luxury goods or agricultural goods. We know different sectors are there in our economy. Then investment goods, or whether to cater education, healthcare sector, or strengthen our country's military. An appropriate example was set by Latin American nation Costa Rica. They dismantled their military in 1949 and invested the money which earlier was spent on maintenance of their army on education and healthcare. Once it is decided what to produce, the next decision is to estimate the amount or quantity of the production. So the economy constantly struggles to choose what to produce and in what quantities. Then, first important problem of an economy is what to produce, means what goods are to be produced in our economy, whether to produce consumer goods or luxury goods or agricultural goods or investment goods or military goods. Like that, we need to decide which type of goods we are required. That one is the first important problem of an economy. Next one is how to produce. The second problem that arrives is how to harvest the given or available resources. That is, what techniques is to be used for producing various goods and services. We know we are using different type of techniques, means labor intensive technique and capital intensive technique. It depends majorly on the nation's endowment of resource in deciding the optimum technique. Then we need to decide the optimum technique. It has to be decided whether efficient production is possible through labor intensive or capital intensive techniques. The decision rests on the present economic condition and also that the selected techniques shall not only reduce the cost of production but also add to the social economic welfare. Okay. Then the present depends on present condition. We need to decide which technique we can use. Okay, if it is labor intensive country, we need to, like India and China, like that country, they can use that resource, labor resource. Then we can select that technique depends on the condition and social economic welfare of that country. If If a country is facing wide unemployment possibility due to huge population, then it is wise to opt labor-intensive techniques so that there is reduction in unemployment. Then, if labors are more or unemployment is more, that time we need to use labor-intensive technique. Okay. If labors are less, that time we need to use capital-intensive technique. Okay. Then, second problem is how to produce. Third problem is for whom to produce. Finally, the purposeful distribution of final goods and services produced has to be done. That is, who gets what and how much. Okay, the economy needs to decide the best suitable mechanism for distribution of the final products among different segments of the society. The economy needs to decide the best suitable mechanism for distribution of final products among different segments of the society. The objective behind selecting such mechanism is to reduce inequality of income and to reduce poverty and to add social welfare and standard of living of the people. Then we need to decide what type of mechanism is suitable for the distribution of final products in the society. Okay, then what are the central problems of an economy? What to produce, how to produce, whom to produce. These are the main problem of an economy. Next question, what do you mean by the production possibilities of an economy? Production possibility of an economy imply those numerous alternative combination of goods and services which a particular economy can produce with the given technology and employing the available resources fully and efficiently. Then, through using our technology fully and efficiently, we can increase the production possibilities. In other words, it refers to various feasible bundles of goods and services that can be produced together by efficiently utilizing the given technology and available resources. What is a production possibility frontier? The production possibility frontier or PPF refers to the curve that shows various alternative combinations of two goods that can be produced with efficient utilization of given resources and technology. Means with given resources and technology, how much we can produce of different combinations of two goods. It is also called production possibility curve. Okay, this one we can call as production possibility curve. We can see the diagram here. You can see the different points. First possible point is A. Next production possibility is B. Next one C. Next one D. Next one E. This F and Z are there. This F depicts inefficiency or underutilization of available resources. Means this much resources only they are utilizing. Okay, they can utilize up to this much, then they are using this much only, that one. Then point F depicts inefficiency or underutilization of resource. Here you can see point Z. It depicts overutilization of the available resources and technology. Okay, this is the production possibility. Next question, discuss the subject matter of economics. The subject matter of economics is divided into two core branches, microeconomics and macroeconomics. This division came into existence only after 1930s as per suggestion of Ragnar Frisch. The domain's interest of these two branches economics can be presented as microeconomics. In microeconomics, we are studying about product pricing, factor pricing, welfare economics, theory of demand, consumer behavior, theory of supply and producer behavior, wages, rent, interest, then profit. These are coming under microeconomics. In macroeconomics, we are studying about the theory of national income, employment, theory of price, theory of economic growth, theory of distribution. Microeconomics is the study of individual economic units. That is the important point. In microeconomics, we are studying about individual units, the behavior of consumers and firms. We are studying about behavior of consumers and firms. The study of how they utilize the given resources in the best possible manner in order to maximize their rational objectives fall under the domain of microeconomics. It is also the study of demand and supply and how their interaction determines prices of various goods, services. Microeconomics helps in solving three central problems of an economy. It is also called price theory, primarily focus on how the prices are determined both in commodity and factor market. Then microeconomics is the study of individual unit, theory of consumer behavior and firms. Then the study utilize in that study in microeconomics how we can utilize the resource in best possible manner, and study of demand and supply and interaction of these things. These things also we can study in microeconomics. In the case of macroeconomics, we study how the economy as a whole operates. We are studying about whole. In macroeconomics, we are studying about whole. It focuses on the determination of the aggregate measures like aggregate demand, aggregate supply, overall price level, and how they change over time. It is also known as theory of income and employment as its main focus on how then main theories are theory of income and theory of employment. Macroeconomics helps in understanding and solving problems like inflation, unemployment, balance of payments, disequilibrium, poverty, etc. Then here distinguish between centrally planned economy and a market economy. What is centrally planned economy? Then first point, ownership of factors of production. Factors of production in a centrally planned economy, factors of production are publicly owned. That one is the main thing in centrally planned economy. In the case of market economy, factors of production are privately owned. Okay. Then what are the difference between centrally planned and market economy? Factors of production are especially like public ownership. We know government like that. Ownership will be there. In the case of market economy, factors of productions are privately owned. Then production motive. The motive production is social welfare. In the case of centrally planned economy, the motive will be social welfare. The main motive is profit making. Then in the case of in the case of market economy, the main motive is profit making. Then centrally planned economy, motive is social welfare. In the case of market economy, motive is profit making. Next one, governing factor. The production is governed by planning mechanism. In the case of centrally planned economy, according to the government plans, all the activities will be according to the government plans. In the case of market economy, the production is governed by the price mechanism, by demand and supply. Means demand and supply will determine the market economy mechanism. Next one, income distribution. The degree of inequality of income is low. In the case of income, inequality is very low in centrally planned economy. There exists unequal distribution of income. In the case of market economy, unequal distribution of income is there. Then next one, government's role. The main role is played by the government from production to distribution. In the case of centrally planned economy, the main role is played by the government from production to distribution. In the case of market economy, the main role is played by the private players. They decide what to produce, while the role of government is limited to maintaining law and order in the nation. Okay. Then in market economy, this role is played by private players, and government is only for controlling law and order. Okay. Then in centrally planned economy, the main role is played by the government from production to distribution. Next one, what is positive economics? Positive economic analysis refers to the analysis which we study what is and how an economic problem is solved by an analyzing various positive statements and mechanisms. Okay, then these are factual statement and describes what was, what is, and what would be. Okay, then in positive economics, what was, what is, and what would be. These statements can be tested, proven, or disproven and do not involve personal value judgment. For example, if someone says that it is raining outside, then the truth of this statement can be verified. Okay, then it deals with actual realistic situation. Then in positive economics, it refers to analysis which we study how the economic problems is solved by various positive statements. These are factual statements and describe what was, what is, and what would be. Okay, these statements can be tested and proven. That one is the positive economic analysis. Then what do you understand by normative economic analysis? Normative economic analysis refers to the analysis in which we study whether a particular mechanism is desirable or not. Okay, in this analysis, we study what ought to be or what desired situation or in what ways the economic problem should be solved, how we can solve the economic problem. In other words, it is concerned with what should be and what should not be, and what is desirable and what is not. In normative economics analysis, we come across normative statements that cannot be tested as they involve personal value judgment. Okay, that is the problem in normative economics. Personal judgment also will be there. It deals with idealistic situation and is based on ethics. An example for normative economics could be central government should not stop providing minimum support price to the farmers. Okay, like that, normative economic analysis refers to study whether a particular mechanism is desirable or not.